Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I am your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Thank you all so much for listening. Please subscribe. We're really close to 2,000 subscribers, so just click on that button for me, and I'd really appreciate it. But we got big news. We got Paul Reed, who's a center power forward from Philadelphia. They waived him, and to our advantage, Philadelphia has just signed Andre Drummond, and they drafted a guy in the second round that's a center, so that made Paul Reed available. But I was talking in the last episode that he's the guy I wanted, and we're really fortunate. I think he's going to be a huge difference maker for our team. Maybe my favorite pickup, other than getting Fred Vinson of the offseason so far. So he's in his second season of a $24 million contract, so I'm guessing that means that he gets $8 million this year and $8 million next year. But I'm not sure of all that. But he's only 25 years old. He's tough. He's 6'9". He plays his butt off. I mean, I remember watching him kick our butts. Who is this guy when I was watching him play this year? But he averaged this year. He played all 82 games. So we've got a bunch of guys that the Trajan signed. All these guys that he signed are guys who have been in the past available, that they play a huge number of games, percentage of the games. So in 82 games, he averaged 7.3 points, 6 rebounds, shot 54%, 37% on threes, but a very low volume. But he blocked one block a game, which is really good because he only played like 19 minutes a game. So his per 36 minutes, so if you spread his numbers over 36 minutes instead of only 19 minutes, he would have averaged 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, which is a big thing. We don't have anybody that blocks shots. And he did start 24 games. And in those 24 games, he averaged 26 minutes, 10 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1.4 blocks. So and 39% on threes in the games that he started. So it is a huge pickup for us. And now we don't have anybody over 7 foot, but we have Beef Stew, and we have Duran and Paul Reed that can play center, and then we got one of those guys that can slide in and play power forward if we need some more toughness and physicality down low and some more size, because all of our other forwards that we have are all 6'8". They're more small forwards. They, like Ausar can step up and play power forward. But yeah, so it's a huge thing. It's going to be exciting to see what happens. We got all these guys that are going to be able to make our team better. I'm sure that we're better, and still, who knows how many more wins we're going to win. We won 14 games. Could we win 30 games? It's well within the realm of possibilities. Again, my hope was that we still get to play the young guys a lot of minutes, still win more games, and if we win like 28 to 30 games, still get a high draft pick, because this next draft is loaded. If you watch Cooper Flagg, he played against the Olympic team that's got all those Hall of Famers, and he did really well. But yeah, so that's a big signing for us, and brings us to camp, because I just didn't know what was going to happen if we just had, Duran and Stu. And again, those guys get injured, and so we were going to be really in trouble if we had, nobody else to go into camp with. And I wouldn't be shocked if we picked up one more big guy somewhere along the line, but that really solidifies our center forward, power forward position, and that's a great job by Trajan. So big news for the NBA. I mean, we've all known this is going to come. I haven't made a big deal about it because I knew it was going to happen. We're going to sign. Cade Cunningham just signed his contract for the max, rookie max. I completely think he deserves it. 5 years, $224 million. And I didn't hear it for sure, but I think from his agent, I think it does say that he gets $269 million, up to that much, because he would have to make all NBA for second or third team to get that amount of money, which is very unlikely next year or next. So, but he could. But some people were debating whether we should put that in his contract, and I'm with some other of the people that follow the Pistons and saying that if he plays good enough to be all NBA, he deserves that much money. And all these guys, the salary cap is going to jump 10% every year for the next 3 or 4 years at least, and so that money will look better even then. So he, 22 years old only, 22.7 points per game, 7.7.5 assists, 45% and 35% on threes, I think that those percentages are going to go up. I wouldn't be surprised if his scoring and assists went up. He's got a lot better shooters, a lot better spacing. We got more 3-point shooters. I think things are going to way better for him. So it was just announced our roster. You can look it up. Our roster for the summer league, which starts Saturday, and no Ausar Thompson. So I everybody just ignored the fact that he had that blood clot and that's any kind of a concern, and it probably won't be. He probably will be fine, and according to every report, that he's recovering very well, and they're probably just playing it safe. But it's to say that it's not nothing. If there was no concerns, then he would be playing in the summer league. A lot of second-year players play. Sasser's going to be playing in the summer league, so it will be fun. July 13th, Saturday, they're playing Philly, and then they're going to play on Monday. They're going to play the Rockets and then the Bulls, and it's going to be fun seeing what Sasser can do. He can probably really put on a show. I hope he doesn't just not pass the ball to Holland and Klipman. So we want to see Ron Holland play. We want to see him stuff the stat sheet and do all the stuff that we were hoping he would do. I'd like to see him knock down some threes, but I think he's going to be really exciting in that. In the summer league, I think that will give him a real chance to show what he can do. So that is really exciting. Bobby Klipman, we got him. He's probably a little more of a project to do, but he's the 6'10" guy that we got in the second round. We traded up, which was, I thought, a really good move by Trajan to get that move. And he's going to see if he shot 37% on threes. He's going to have to be a good 3-point shooter. Still questioning about how good he is on defense, but that'll be a chance for him to prove how good he can do on defense. Sasser is going to, we got a lot of guards. Somebody said that they weren't going to, they did their starting lineup and they said I don't forget who they said they were going to start, but they weren't going to start Ivy or Beasley or Hardaway. Well, if those guys don't start, then they all got to come off the bench. Then they were going to start Ausar at the shooting guard. So, but that makes it challenging. And then where are minutes for Sasser? I mean, I think it's going to be really hard for him. So, but again, Beasley only has 1 year left and 1 year on his contract, and so does Hardaway. So they might be gone. So even if he does take a developmental year and not play that much, it'll still be a chance for him to play. But Dennis Jenkins, that two-way player, he's going to 6'4" guy out of St. John's, and we'll get to see what he can do. Like I said, I'm really excited to see what Holland does because I think he could really put on a show. I think he's going to be dynamic, and it is going to be fascinating what's going to happen with his minutes this year with all the different forwards. He's listed as a small forward. We know someday he could play shooting guard. But so my thought is that Cade's going to start, obviously, and I would think for sure Tobias is, and then I think Duren is. So those three are going to start. My pick would be Fontecchio would start for sure. And then after that is where it gets tricky. I would start Ivy, whether I know a lot of you wouldn't want to, but I would start Ivy. But there's talk about Beasley starting, and because that's so if Cade can shoot even a little bit better, Ivy's capable of shooting. Tobias can certainly shoot, and Fontecchio can certainly shoot. So I think that would be enough shooting, and then you can bring Beasley and Hardaway off the bench. But it's going to be challenging for JB Bickerstaff. And Kuka Heel on Locked on Pistons had a good interview yesterday with the guy that follows the Cavs. So it's really good if you ever get a chance. If there's somebody you're interested in, go to the Locked On Network and listen to how the guys that follow the team all the time and for multiple years, what they think. And so it was real interesting. This guy, he admitted that maybe there were some players, including Davion Mitchell, that weren't big fans at the end of JB Bickerstaff, but he said that he was really great at the culture, and that he really, a lot of the players really liked him, and that he was very motivational, which I didn't see that from Monty. He gets after the refs, which we didn't see Monty do at all. And so I thought it was good to hear what the guy from the Cavs said about him. He's obviously a defensive coach. We don't have very many good defenders on this team. Holland's potentially a good defender. Ausar's going to be a great defender for sure, elite. And the rest of the team is, Cade's probably average, maybe. Duren's below average. Ivy is below average a little bit, but the key is for JB, if he can get Ivy and Duran and all these guys to move up their defense a notch, just like I said with Fred Vinson. I would like to see Fred Vinson, our shooting coach's schedule, and see how he's doing it this summer, who he's working with, how many days, and I'd be really fascinated with that. I get tired of people, there's certain things that people say, like too many cooks in the kitchen. I got tired of hearing people say that talked about the Pistons. We've got a lot of cooks in the kitchen now. I just think that we got a lot of really good cooks, and we got one head cook that everybody knows is the head cook. And but I think that you just hear certain things. You hear all this talk about, oh, JB Bickerstaff, he played with two bigs. He played with two bigs when he coached in Memphis. He played with two bigs when he coached at Cleveland. But what, he had no choice. When you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, you got to play those guys. And so I think he's probably a smart coach and will see what he can do with this roster. But it is a big move to get Paul Reed. I think it's huge, and I think that we have a chance. Who knows? Could we move up to 30 wins? Again, it's just really hard to win in the NBA. I'm waiting to see. I heard somebody say the plus minus it was 28 and a half, and that's a tricky number to bet on. I can tell you that if I were, I was hoping maybe it was going to be lower because we were so bad last year, and then I was going to maybe bet. I'm not a gambler, but I was just for fun. I was going to bet if the number was like 25, I was going to for sure bet on it. But if it's 28 and a half, and I'm not so sure. So that's impressive that whatever Vegas or who are the sets that odds think that we're going to improve, double our win total or more than double our win total. So that's really cool that they think that. But yeah, let's go Pistons. Exciting year. Watch the Summer League starting Saturday if you can. It's going to be fun to watch our guys play. It'll be fun to watch some basketball and be the reason that somebody feels cared for and loved. And go Pistons.